Well, hi there. You should have already seen the still photographs of some of the benches being built, so I thought we'd have a quick scan of them and pick out maybe a couple of trees on the way just to have a closer look at. So this bench down here outside my kitchen window, a quick scan of that. Nice acer there in its colours, emerald lace. Coming around here to a chamois cypress, which I'm not too pleased about the way some of the leaves are going brown. Coming around, a thuya, which I'm having a bit of experimentation at. There's a cascade. Mother and daughter spruce there, you see. There's a Judas tree, we'll pull that one out later and have a look. My cotoneaster, it's got some nice fall colours on. And up there we also have a shelf with a cotoneaster at the end, sycamore, more cotoneasters, willow, guess what, cotoneaster. Finishing up there with a cedar. So we'll have a quick, put a table down here, and then we'll have a quick pull out and have a look at a few of the trees before we go round to the other side of the house for a couple more tables. Right, see you in a second. An acer emerald lace. It was originally planted in the front garden, but I got told that it was looking a mess, so to get rid of it, so what of course we did, we turned it into a bonsai. And over here we can see there was originally a branch right from here that grew up, went over the top for miles, that we had to chop that off. And we've got this nice tree now that's just under show its autumn colours, but a very nice tree. Now we have a juniper, which was originally in that very small pot there. Took it along to my bonsai club and I got told put it in a bucket. I didn't have a bucket, so I went into a large flower pot. And at the moment it looks quite a nice little tree building up. Another couple of years and I'll think about putting it into a bonsai, a proper bonsai pot. Now the foliage on this was going very yellow, so I got advised that that is what we need to make the foliage go back to green. Epsom salts. It's taken me about 6 weeks feeding it or watering it every day with a level teaspoon per litre of water of the Epsom salts, and the colour has slowly gone back to green. So it's getting there. A pyracantha with yellow berries, bought very cheaply from a local supermarket. The berries did actually grow a bit too long this year, but I've chopped them off just to try and get the tree back into shape. But that's building up for a bit of growth next year. Once again, a nice little tree in a nice little pot which came from eBay. A Cercis siliquastrum, or more commonly known as the Judas tree, which comes out with those lovely purple flowers close to the trunk. Been in this pot about 4 years now. I got it from a firm called Highland Trees, and it's coming to be it's building up very nicely for branch structure. A holly tree that was rescued from a footpath in Bognor Regis, just as a dog was cocking its hind leg over it, so it's commonly now called the hind leg holly. Once again, I'm waiting for its first berries to appear. I think it's getting to be a nice little shape, nice compact little holly bonsai. A Japanese grey bark elm, more commonly known as a zelkova. Actually, well, we had a raffle at the District Bonsai District Society, District Bonsai Society, and bought a raffle ticket. Well, bought 3 tickets for £3, and I managed to win this beautiful tree. I was really pleased with that. Nice little tree. A cotoneaster, which I've turned into a cascade. Can't turn this one around, not too much anyway. It's all one one tree. I've actually called this one the Creeper after an episode in Thunderbirds. Is where they had a machine that actually destroyed trees to make roads. Anyway, going into its fall colours now, but once again a nice tree. A thuya of some description. Arbor vitae or an eastern white cedar, I believe. But anyway, it's a tree that got into quite a nice little clump style. And hopefully this year will bring out some form of alterations to it when I decide exactly what I'm going to do. But it's certainly growing well and coming along ready for some work to be done to it. Another Cotoneaster, also won as a raffle prize from the Chichester and District Bonsai Society. There's actually 2 trees in this pot. But it is making a very, very nice composition. Hopefully the berries will be coming on it next year. A mother-daughter spruce, father-son, call it what you like, but a tree that's in development, turning into its autumn colours now, needs a lot of weeding. A tree that is showing some potential. I've had to go carving out some roots here because that was just a solid potato root. But when we come to repot it, hopefully next year, this root will have to come off because I don't like the way it's looking, curling around the front there. But the rest of the tree is coming on nicely. A Thuya occidentalis, which was actually given to me by our chairman of the club. I think he had too many trees. I don't know what this is growing up in the pot as well. We'll have a look at that this year. But once again, it's taken up a nice little shape now, and the colour's beautiful. But this tree I'll save and put it into a pot on its own sometime next year. Another nice looking tree, nice addition to my collection. A Norway spruce, a Christmas tree, bought at a very cheap price, I think about £4.50 at the end of Christmas a couple of years ago. When I picked it up, when I got it, the soil was virtually just clay. And we repotted it into this large flower pot, and the trunk's thickening up nicely. It won't be long now before I can get it into its own little bonsai pot. Once again, got the makings of a nice tree. And finally, for these few benches, another little Cotoneaster, growing in a more upright style this time, informal upright. And growing very well. A few berries on this one, but really nice little tree, and I've got good hopes for the future with that one. A quick afterthought to this area before we go round the bend, literally to the other side of the house. Another form of Thuya, arbor vitae, eastern white cedar, call it what you will. It was bought from a local DIY come garden centre here in Bognor 5 years ago, just as I was starting to get into bonsai, and I thought I want a cascades tree, and this was sold as a hedging conifer. Vertical it was at the time, but I thought, well, let's give it a bend. I put a few heavy wires on it, bent it down, and then about 6 months ago I thought the branches were too straight coming out at the side, so I thought, how about hanging them down? Now I don't know whether just to put snow on it for Halloween or however it goes, but I don't know, I think it's got something. We'll have to keep going with it and see how it goes. An ash tree that a member of our club was finding it a bit of a struggle to keep all the trees he had, so he was selling a few. Managed to get this one for 20 quid. And once again I had to do a major cut because up here it was very vertical, so I just cut it down by about a foot, carved this a bit to make it more smooth, but I think that's got potential now. The leaves are slowly getting smaller, but it's a tree that I really quite like. And finally, a willow tree that's showing it in its silhouette form. And I really do like the branch structure on this. It was dropped by the birds, this tree, and that trunk was built up in the last 5 years. Very, very quick grower. I do think it's quite a splendid tree. Really glad to have that. Just a quick look at one of the other benches. I won't pull any out of this one, but we'll have a quick scan over it just to show you what there is. Difficult to see because I'm stuck underneath a bay tree. But we'll move on round to the one round the other side, see what we got there. Now we just move round the other side of the house, and before we go onto the bench, there is a Unimus alatus, a burning bush. I want to turn into a nice twin trunk bonsai next year. Let's move on up past an orange dream that's in a tub. I've been told I can put that in as a bonsai soon. And then here's the bench with the dragons in front. Looks quite nice. Now, a quick scan of the bench before we have a look at some of the trees themselves. A lot of willows here because, as I say, the birds drop them quite freely. Nice forsythia at the back, which I'm hoping will have some lovely yellow flowers this year. We'll pull that one out shortly. There's a ginkgo biloba. I love the look of that tree. And a fig tree that was actually in an enormous tub in the garden, but pulled that out and bonsai'd it. That space there is waiting for the spring when I can pull out some trees that I've got in the greenhouse. And the last one to look at is this thing here, which is a Turkish hazel forest. So I managed to pick up from the club for £15. Very nice. Right, well, let's pull some trees out so you can have a closer look. So as promised, this forsythia was growing in the garden for a couple of years. I dug it up, cut it down. I've got to try doing some more carving here to make this look more like coming straight up to joining into the branch. So I'll be doing that next year. Trunk's quite thick, it's obviously grown in the ground. I've just put this ivy in it to hide a great big chop mark that's at the bottom. Well, it's hidden by a slate actually, but never mind. Right, but when that's going to be in flower next year, the buds are starting to show now. That's going to be a really nice looking job. And here we have a rowan, a mountain ash. I wonder if they call it an ash because the leaves do go this ashen colour in the fall. Anyway, it's grown up very, very quickly. I'm just hoping for some branching to appear down below and it'll look a nice tree. It's got buds appearing all over it, so some back budding will make it look really nice. And as I mentioned to you, a ginkgo biloba. Actually bought that this September in the club auction as bonsai material. Cost £18, which I thought was a very, very good deal. Done a bit of wiring, chopping off of branches because there was a branch coming out here. It was looking very much like a bar branch all in all. So that was the first thing to go the day actually after I got it at the auction. That is turning into quite a spectacular looking tree. Another auction buy in September, this juniper squamata. I've done some wiring on it because it was a bit two-dimensional. So I've tried to bring it around. It's actually showing juniper berries. I don't know if you can see those. There are juniper berries on it. Oh, and there's some liverwort which I must get up very shortly. I'll do that later on today actually. Lovely tree. And my fig tree that was originally in an enormous garden tub. I took it along to just a Bonsai Society meeting when we had a repotting session. Chopped off a section here because it was growing all over the place, or about 2 foot high. We're left with this. I'm hoping that the leaves obviously will reduce in size a bit. This branch here, that's a new back bud that's appeared since it's been in a bonsai pot. But I think in a few years' time it might show some promise. Just before we finish, we'll have a quick look around the garden. If I can get past old Sammy Squirrel here. There are some nice fall colours. on this Acer up here. Looking very nice. And as we go up the garden, we can see another tree in the background. And that is a cherry at the top there, with more full colours, looking very nice. And over here, just for comparison, I did show you a Cercis siliquastrum, a Judas tree earlier, in a bonsai pot. This one was put in the ground at the same time as the other one was put in a bonsai pot. It just shows the difference between sticking in ground and sticking in a pot. Anyway, that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed looking at the benches and a quick tour of the trees. Bye for now.